Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we actually have to talk about Russia's latest disinformation innovation, because honestly, it's kind of genius. It's evil genius, don't get me wrong, but it's actually kind of genius. Now, here's what's going on, and this is just absolutely interesting, because on August 17th of this year, the Russian news outlet RIA Novosti published a story carrying an urgent message from American actor John McGinley. You may know him basically as Dr. Cox from the TV show Scrubs from a while back. He had a message for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and I quote, "Over the last year, booze and drugs have become your best friends, I understand. The most important advice I can give you in this matter is that the only way out is kindness." End quote. Now, that story reported that the actor, quote, called on Zelensky to seek treatment for his drug addiction, end quote, and reported that the internet had basically noticed strange behavior from the Ukrainian president, quote, often linking this with drug addiction, end quote. That's right. Russia is trying to tell the world that Zelensky is a drug addict. And interestingly enough, I've actually seen that in social media as I go looking for Ukraine war news. Now, the actor McGinley's video message, it turns out, was actually part of an apparent Russian influence operation that was documented by Microsoft in a report that they released on Thursday, December 7th. Now, it's one of roughly half a dozen videos that they found so far in which Western celebrities send personal messages to quote-unquote Vladimir via Cameo. Now, Cameo is a website where you or anybody can pay for a personalized message from celebrities or other prominent people. Most recently in Cameo News, former Congressman George Santos went on Cameo, and basically for $200 you can have him send you a message and all of that, and that has been making waves because one of the American TV hosts at night, one of the night show hosts, Jimmy Kimmel, bought a whole bunch of these apparently to have him do some really funny thing. So there you go. But that's essentially what Cameo is. Now, other celebrities that apparently have sent Volodymyr Zelensky messages are Elijah Wood of Lord of the Rings fame and a whole bunch of other stuff, Dean Norris, not sure who that is, Kate Flannery, which I believe is in The Office, Priscilla Presley, which I believe is Elvis's daughter, and Mike Tyson, Iron Mike the boxer. Now, these are designed to basically, these cameos are designed to be shared by normal people and covered in news outlets, and the videos aim basically to spread the idea that Zelensky has been struggling with drug addiction, like I said, which is basically pushed by pro-Russian media all over the world. Now, a representative for the actor John McGinley did not respond to comment, but the representative for Elijah Wood told Cyberscoop that, quote, the request was submitted through Cameo and was in no way intended to be addressed to Zelensky or have anything to do with Russia or Ukraine or the war, end quote. Now, the question that I have immediately is, how many people got that message? Meaning, you are trying to sway, let's say, the American public from not supporting Ukraine, which is actually a debate right now in American society, and I'm not adjudicating that. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but there are going to be a swath of people out there that see Elijah Wood and be like, oh yeah, that's the dude from Lord of the Rings, like he's like Bilbo Baggins or whatever, or Frodo, he was Frodo. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings guy, but he was Frodo. Anyway, so you're like, oh my God, like Frodo really wants Volodymyr Zelensky to kick his drug habit, and this dude must clearly be on drugs. The president of Ukraine must be an addict. That's the power of this. Now, this operation continued through late October, and it represents now one aspect of Russia's ongoing hybrid war against Ukraine. As the war drags on, the physical gains are becoming harder and harder and harder. Obviously, cyber operations will always continue to play a major role, but now we've got basically public pressure that is essentially trying to change the narrative of who Volodymyr Zelensky is. And by all accounts, and all the homework that I've done on this, he's not a drug addict, not at all. But this is the message that is continuously being pushed. So why would the Ukrainian people, who are big fans of Lord of the Rings or The Office or Scrubs or whatever, when they start seeing those celebrities and they're thinking, oh my God, my president is an addict and he's fighting this war against Russia? Or you have a population that is telling their members of Congress to vote one way or the other, and they're seeing this as well. This is actually evil genius. And it's really smart because you're leveraging people against themselves. And to the point, Elijah Wood or John McKinley or Kate Flannery or Dean Norris, whoever that is, basically they're not going to know this. They just know that some guy, Vladimir, has a serious addiction and they're trying to send a positive message. They're trying to do good and it's being hijacked against them. That's obviously not right. So I think this is an interesting one. I would not have thought of this, to be perfectly honest, and maybe I should have if I'm looking at ways, to really run disinformation campaigns. But that is obviously a huge, huge issue that we are going to see. And this actually, I think, is a portent for the 2024 election when we start having cameos of celebrities, let's say, talking to, a Joe or a Don, aka Joe Biden or Donald Trump or something like that, and saying one thing or the other, and that obviously is a huge thing because obviously the intent here is not to do harm and they're doing it unknowingly. And so here you go. So I think this is what we're going to see because we're seeing it already. And I think it's, like I said, evil genius, but you got to respect the genius of it all. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. And for the record, if I ever get a Cameo, I would really love to verify that I'm not doing this on behalf of the Russians or Chinese or any other government if I'm giving somebody a positive message to kick an addiction or anything negative in their life, and take that for what it's worth. Take care.